This is Blythe Baines, and you're listening to Inspirado Projecto.
This can be considered a prediction or even an invention. Scented acrylic paints. So it adds an extra dimension to the painting where you want to smell it. I like putting textures in the painting so people want to feel it. Now imagine adding a scent. So when people smell the painting, they remember that scent. So every time they smell that smell, smells and music are the time machines. Probably tastes too. Tastes, scents, and music. Those are the true time machines, I'd say. So if you have a scented painting, every time someone smells that smell, or something similar to it, bam! They're brought back to thinking about that painting. And the painting, of course, contains all the vibes that were put into it when you were creating that painting. So a while ago, the idea for a riff came to me. We always hear about they do this, them. And it went like this. The infamous they, listen closely to what we say. The infamous they, it seems that they will never go away. Constantly getting in our way, or maybe constantly staying out of our way. Something like that. So this idea came to me. I've been reading a lot about the doomsday clock, and the same chords came to me. Well, first here's this. Da 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 da. Oops. Da 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 ba dum bum bum ba da 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 dum bum bum ba da 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 dum 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 da 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 dum 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 da 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 dum da 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 dum da 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 dum 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 da 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 da. So that riff came to me, and I think I might be able to fit it in with this. Alright, so here we go. It's called the Doomsday Clock. I've been reading a lot about the Doomsday Clock lately, and thinking how it's up there as a mechanism to control the minds of... It's a wonderful focus for people to think about, because now it's bringing out their worst fears, and now they're confronted with this as it edges closer to 12 o'clock. First of all, I just think it's such a ridiculous idea that something like that even exists. Why? Why get the world focused on that? How about the positivity clock? Which brings me to this point. Let's say it gets closer and closer to 12. Well, okay, it hits 12 o'clock. What then? Well, technically, it's a new day. So maybe it becomes a lot more optimistic. So let's try this. The doomsday clock reminds us just how far we got. According to them, the infamous they, watching us closely as they play. Maybe everything will turn optimistic, since now it's technically a new day. Ba-da-ba, ba-da-da-da-da. And then maybe it goes into that. The Doomsday Clock. That's what I have so far.
really give up on certain things that I really want to do.
You to have, like,
I want to be an actor. I want to be like, I want to draw stuff. I love painting, and she just didn't like. I could tell her energy that she didn't like me doing all those different stuff. But I could draw. I'll show you I could draw.
So you just were not encouraged to...
I wasn't. Zero. In high school, I was in the boarding school, so behind her back, I was trying to go to the studio and make music for my music crew. And then I was like 15. That was like 18 years ago. Well, when she found out,
She didn't like that you were making music?
Nah.
Why?
My dad was a musician. No, he's a musician. You've seen him. So she thinks in her mind that people that do music are always, drug addicts or irresponsible. People see musicians that way.
Why do you suppose that people value... this is so interesting because I was talking about...
not people. Most African parents see...
Well, not just... but this is all over the place.
Yeah.
Like that. Like what you're saying is... It's interesting because... that kind of stuff is all over the place where people, for some reason, I was talking with a friend of mine about this earlier tonight, about that idea that for some reason we get the idea that it's harder for a dream to come true in the world of the arts than it is if you just stick to the path and do your 9-to-5 job and just do that and plow through. And what's interesting is that we've been taught as a culture to value work. Like, oh, he's a hard worker. That seems to be this big thing that's valued. Like just that idea of hard working.
Yeah.
And how many people lie on their deathbeds going, you know what? I was a very hard worker. I'm very proud of myself. But they don't have experiences to show for it. They don't have curiosity, the imagination. So what's so interesting is that for some reason, when people think of the odds, they think that the odds are something cool will not happen. Mm-hmm. The odds are it won't happen. What kind of limited human mind decided ever that was the best point of view to take? Because it doesn't make me feel good inside when I think about, there's a better chance that this shitty thing will happen. There's a better chance that your dreams will not come true. So you better just buckle down and work hard. Well, that doesn't make me feel good. Call me delusional, but I think I'll take the other side of the coin.
Exactly.
So what's cool is when you start, just like a plant, we're just moving plants. So like when you water the plant, you put it in good environment. Yeah. You can't grow a freaking I don't think you can grow any of these plants like way out in the desert. That's not the climate for it. A cactus, that's why the cactus is the way it is, because it grows in that kind of environment. That's built for that. So it's so important to be able to have your particular kind of, the nutrition, the soil that you're kind of growing in. Yes. And then how often you're getting watered, how often are those dreams, and how often is the volume in those areas being turned up? Sometimes I think of if we just turn up the volume on that person's talent, and turn up the volume on this talent and that hobby, holy cow, now it just becomes louder. It becomes louder than the doubt that we have in our minds that we can't do it. So it's just sort of a matter of turning up the volume towards the directions that we most prefer, and or also just changing the channel altogether.
That's true. You're right. And then if you don't like go into that volume or whatever you mentioned, you don't put your efforts or your energy in it, with time it could fade away.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
You have to do it all. You have to be into it and have what's the word for it?
What, like a bravery, like courage to believe in yourself?
Do it all the time, every single day, because it could leave. No, it won't leave, but it could fade away.
You know what's so interesting? Because earlier I was talking about this analogy. I was talking with my friend about that analogy of we were talking about sort of like the train of thought. Once you get the train going and the train is moving, and then. If you ever, how on the front of trains it's got that sort of triangle kind of front thing? Uh-huh. They made that because the cows getting on the track.
This is hard.
Was that pretty tough?
Yes.
What is this?
There's just salsa and I couldn't get the damn thing
That's
open.
Crazy.
That's awesome. But the cows, when the cows come walking out on the train track, Now the train slows down. Now all the momentum is lost. Now you gotta get out of here, cows. Come on, get out of here. Get out of here. And then you gotta start going, chin, 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 chin. And you gotta start getting grinding up and going again.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is, the more you just have momentum going in one direction, and you keep going in that direction, man, it's like reminds me of the Olympics, like that.
Yep, that's
like the luge.
there is no stop, man. I'm serious. There's no stop.
And it can be so fun and joyful along the way.
Yeah, doing what you like to do, Like seriously, there's no like stop.
And that's the interesting thing too, because a lot of times there's this mindset. A lot of folks are very present. They live a lot of times in the present. A lot of times people live in the past, and they're always going back to, I wish the way things were this way. A lot of people think in the future, and it's just interesting to go, okay, well, what do I fully enjoy doing right now, and what do I want to do more of? What do I really enjoy doing? What can I do more of, and who can I find along the way who also likes to kind of do that, so we can kind of keep this
going,
momentum going.
You have to be, have the same people that have your dreams and what you like to do. It's, stick around them. Like for instance, like your band right now, I guarantee you, if you take like 3 to 4 year break, I'm telling you, you would still have the passion, but it wouldn't be as much as it is right now.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yes, exactly.
All the machines come to a
Trust me.
And then there you are sitting on. You're just like, oh.
True.
And it's so interesting because like a lot of folks could carry around a mindset, could be carrying around like just all those examples that you gave me about your mom being fearful of you going in those directions. If someone were to carry those things around with them, it could inhibit them. It becomes an the ball and chain, like that analogy, the ball and chain. It becomes that thing you're dragging along where you're going, and that could be the thing that's really holding you from going forward. And it's interesting because when I would substitute teach, I'd talk with the kids, and I'd find like there's this one time where there was a girl who was drawing awesomely. And I'm like, oh my gosh, can I see that? And she immediately turned it over and hid it under her book. And I go, why are you hiding that? Mm-hmm. She goes, oh, it's stupid, it's dumb. I'm a terrible artist. I go, why would you say that about yourself? Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden her friends start going, no, she's a wonderful artist. And she's like, this girl goes, she drew this for me, and she drew this for me. And I'm looking at all this cool art. I'm going, holy cow, look at this. And I go, who tells you that you're a bad artist? And she goes, my mom. She doesn't let me draw. She doesn't let me hang out with my friends. She doesn't let me listen to music. She said her mom would...
I like that with him.
Her mom would...
My mom was worse.
Really?
Oh, my mom... Long story, I won't tell you later, but my mom was like worse. Like, I couldn't even make friends. I couldn't go out. It's so shocking that now I'm kind of social. Mm-hmm. I'm serious. Yeah. Mom let me do anything now I want to do. Nothing. For a long time. Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, congratulations for breaking through that barrier and just allowing yourself to really grow into yourself.
Yeah, I keep telling you, I'm old already. I'm old to do what I want to do because I started doing this when I was like 8, 9 years old. But my mom was like, she was like, yeah. And I have a friend right now. He's a rapper. And he's a singer, and he does music with like celebrities in Nigeria, and he's gets it in there. And I have like 3 friends that are like famous actors in Nigeria, and it's so crazy. When I was in high school, they looked up to me.
That's awesome.
And they're like, Obi, what happened to you? I'm like, and I can't explain it because I feel ashamed, but like, it's life, yeah. But their parents were more supportive, They were, more supportive for them. They let them do, go into acting, music and everything. But my mom was like, my mom was the most strict.
But your dad wasn't around.
She was so strict. Yeah. So my mom, the reason why she was strict because my dad wasn't around. So she was trying to be the man and the woman. So she had fears that if she let me, go out there and do what I want to do, that I might do something stupid. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, she let her fear.
Is that cat throwing up?
No.
Oh. All right, sorry.
Yeah.
The fear?
So she let her fear control her. And
yes. That
because
must be
you know
so
why?
tricky to be a parent.
We were all good kids. Me, my brother, my sisters, we're all good kids, but it was Nigeria back in the days,
Now, do you feel that through your life? Do you feel that you've? I just get this feeling that have you had sort of an invisible monitor following you, to make sure that you're doing good?
I do, I do. I just feel I did things to please her, but I'm 32. That's the hope, yeah.
Well, okay, so now that you're more sort of growing into yourself and following your heart and your own instincts, what you mentioned something earlier about music. Do you still make music? Do you still have that desire?
I still know how to dance, singing. Not as before.
What were you doing with the music? Were you making the music? Were you singing? Were you?
I was writing.
Oh, you're writing the music.
Yes, when I was like 13. I started at 8, 9.
So you're a writer.
Yes. I know people don't believe me, but
Do you still write?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because I quit writing at 14.
Oh, come on. Okay, well, you can break the rule. You made the rule, you break the rule.
That's how many years
Break the
ago.
rule, man. Karate chop it.
And I was so good. See, you guys don't believe me. I was so good in literature back in the days.
Well, let's get the train rolling again, man. What good comes out of like keeping a beast like that in hiding? It's like nothing. This thing wants to be shown. This thing wants to fly.
Because you know why? When I turned 13, 14, I just left all those things alone and I concentrated on my studies, like math, English, biology, chemistry. Like I just, and it made me, like I said earlier, it made me just give up on those things because I wanted to get good grades, and I just gave up.
So it sounds to me that you still like that idea.
Back in the days, I could see. I know you won't believe me. If my mom let me do what I want to do, I could dance, seriously. And if I continued dancing when I was younger, by now I would have been the next Chris Brown or Marion. Seriously. But now, I can't dance like before. But.
Well, who's yelling at you for being something different? The cool thing is that you get to be like, you just get to just start from where you're at and just really rock and roll it. It's so crazy. I've been doing these push-ups, and when I first started it, I did like 15.
Oh, nice.
And today, I did 40. I couldn't believe it.
Nice.
And so it's crazy. It's like it's this fun little thing to go. Okay, let me try one more. So I'll do the same thing I did yesterday, but like one more.
That's
awesome.
Even like in the shower before I brush my teeth or something, I'll do like the triangle one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put the triangle one like right on the bathtub, on the bathtub, and I'll do like push-ups off of there. Yeah, in the bathtub.
You're getting ideas.
Yeah. And so it's just been. It's a fun little challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so great. Like, okay, I'm gonna brush my teeth. Before I do that, though, let's do these. Yeah. It was become like a fun little video game.
Step by step.
Yeah. My buddy. I was in the. We're talking with him on the radio, and he said that he knows this guy who told him one time. This guy who does he's just a very fit guy, like this martial arts guy. The guy told my friend. He said if you do 70. Get up to the point where you're 70 push-ups. He goes, so you do, one extra each day, all the way up until you're into the 70. He goes, then you take a week off, and then you do 100 push-ups straight in a row. So that was his advice. Yeah. And so I'm not going that extreme. Hell, I guess I'll try it. I'm going to go that extreme. What the hell, man? If I get up to 40, I'm going to... I'm going to do 100 push-ups, man. I can't wait.
You guys don't believe me?
I'm going to do it.
You guys don't believe me? I told Jenny.
What? Did you do 500 push-ups?
No. Oh. Please. I'm not a mutant, but...
A mutant.
No, but... 3 years ago, I'm lying to you, I used to walk. I've not been to the gym in a year. I used to work out a lot. And like you said, you start with 14 and you go up. So I was trying, because I saw this, I was in Herbalife, in Culver City. And then I was trying to, I was very competitive. So I was seeing people doing a lot of stuff. And then this guy will post on Instagram doing 100 push-ups just for fun. And he did it so easy.
Just for fun.
I'm serious. So
that's incredible.
I could lift weights, but I couldn't do push-ups like that. So I started training, and it took me almost like 5 months. Then I was doing 100 push-ups easy. Like I could,
Dude.
100. I'll do 100. I'm like, what? Now I can do 100 push-ups in the go.
You must have been very surprised when you got to that point,
Yes,
right? I mean,
yes.
what a great accomplishment when you're like, what?
Yes.
I just did 100?
Now I could do 45, 48 in the go, but I can't do 100. Like straight.
You know, it's really crazy when you can chart the progress
again.
of something like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's really, really intriguing.
Yeah.
So, okay, so now, to get back to the music thing, because I think there's a knot there that needs to be untied. Or actually maybe a connection that does need to be tied. So like you were saying that you draw. I mean, have you written anything while you draw? Something I used to like to do is, well, I mean, I still like to do it is draw. And then you used to make comics?
Yes, I was 14, yes.
Oh, man.
I loved cartoons and everything. And sometimes when
It'd be awesome to see, what were some of the characters you used to do?
Like, I would just create my own, story, create my own superheroes. It's so crazy. I know you guys won't believe this. This is so crazy. No one believes me. Before what do you call when a superhero blows beam from his eye? Eye beams.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Cyclops, right?
Like eye beams, right?
Yeah.
You guys don't believe this. I was like 9 years old, and I was drawing a comic. This is true life story. It's so crazy. And then I drew a guy that was putting fire from his eyes, and I named it Eye Beam, and I've never heard of Eye Beam in my life. No, you don't believe me. It's so weird. A year, 2-3 years later, I was reading comic books aloud, and I found out it was called Eye Beam. I'm like, what the fuck?
What?
No, you guys don't believe me. No, it's so.
Wait, so then you ended up seeing that comic actually with the guy who shoots things?
Yes, and I called it Eye Beam. It was, and I was like, what? I freaked out.
Wow.
Seriously.
Okay,
no.
so what do you do in those situations? I'm always excited to hear people's how they react to those situations. That moment, that epiphany.
4 days, I was shocked. I'm like, how?
Right? Because for so long, how many times? Okay, so give me a timeline from when that seed was first planted, when you first had that idea, to when you actually, when that day happened, where it's like, and it's like, this thing is real. So how long was it? A month, a year, a couple weeks?
It was a couple of months.
It's Superhero, and you're listening to Inspirado Projecto.
Hey everybody, gather around. Want to hear the Inspirado hotline number? Yeah! Alright, goes a little bit like this. 561-203-9179er 561-203-9179er. Say, I got an idea. How about you try it? Sounds great! Okay, here we go. 561-203-9179er. That sounds great. 561-203-9179er. That sounds awesome. 561-203-9179er.
Oh, honey, you crack me up. Anyway, oh boy, I was just calling to say hello and let you know I'm thinking of you. And I'm home. I'm just doing laundry and whatnot. So I will catch you later. I love you.
months?
Yes.
So you had a prophecy. You that was like you predicted.
I'm sorry. From the time I made up,
like
it was called I-beam to when I found out about it.
Yes.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That took like almost 2 years or so.
That was 2 years.
Yes.
Did you draw I-beam as your own comic?
I-beam. I drew it and I called it I-beam.
So you used to draw it. It was your own creation, basically.
Yes.
Is what you're saying. So this wasn't just a thought in your head.
No, yes.
You were like, I'm drawing this guy. He's got things shooting out of his eyes.
Many stuff. And
then all of a sudden, bam! 2 years later.
Yes.
You actually.
Yes. And if I go to my phone right now.
How did you come across it? How did you end up coming across it? Were you in a comic book shop? Did someone tell you about it?
No, I was just drawing and I called it I-beam.
No. When you saw it, when you actually found out that there was a real.
Because I was buying comic books, you know.
So you were in a comic shop?
Yes, because normally I would buy comics from my friends. Those they knew how to draw, you know. And then I would buy them because I liked the way they drew, and I was trying to be as good as them. And then with time, I was better. So I like, you know what? Let me buy real comic books, and I'll go to comic shops. And then I went to comic shops, and I was not buying, you know, comic books. And then I was reading stuff, and I saw I-beam. I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay, so what were you searching for? Do you remember? What were you searching for before you found that one?
I was just reading,
You're just kind of looking through?
Yeah, no. I mean, like, in the comic book, I was just, like, you know, having fun and reading it. Like, you know, having fun.
Well, no, but, like, were you, like, looking for Batman's? Were you looking for some kind of other comic, and then you found it? Or were you just going, okay, let's go to this section?
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was a Marvel fan.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I like DC comic as well. So I would go to comic stores and buy different, like, comic books. So I picked one up one time, and I was just reading through. I don't know what superhero it was when I saw it.
So the comic itself was not I-beam, but I-beam was a character in the comic.
Oh, no. I-beam was what came out from his eyes.
But was he character in the comic?
He was a character, yes.
But was the comic book itself called I-beam?
No, it wasn't called I-beam. It was called something else.
Oh, gotcha.
But then when I was reading through, I saw that, he punched this villain and he fired some I-beam through his eyes. And then I remember, like, fuck. I drew a character and I called it I-beam that came from his eyes. No, I know.
That is. I
even told my sister and my friends. They're like, "Oh, stop lying." I'm like, "I'm not lying."
I love stories like that. I live for these stories.
I told them I'm not lying because I was freaking out. I said years ago I was drawing some character and like, what should I call this thing coming from his eyes? Let me call it I-beam.
Oh my god!
And people don't believe me. It's so crazy.
These are amazing stories.
On YouTube, I believe in all this conspiracy stuff and, you know, crazy stuff because it happens.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It does happen because I've witnessed it.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Tell me of another example where that happened. Do you know of another one? Another kind of
that's the only one I know.
That happened?
And I was like, what the fuck? And you know, when I was a kid, you know, don't laugh at me. I used to, I watched a lot of Robin Hood, shows in Nigeria. You know Robin?
Oh yeah, Robin Hood. Oh yeah.
The old one, you know. Until people think I was crazy. I was like 8, 9, and I would always like fight with like imaginary
creatures,
villains. And
me too. Me too. Yeah. At Carroll Stream School, Jen, I would go up there. Me and I think Tom Yosenik, and we would pretend we were battling like big beasts. We would pretend we were.
My mom thought I was crazy.
Your friends thought you were crazy?
They thought I was crazy.
Wow, that's a powerful imagination right there.
I would create a movie for 2 hours. I'm serious. I told myself today, if I don't create a movie for 2 hours, I won't go to sleep. And I will create a movie from beginning to the end.
Wait, every day you do this?
Most of the days. And
incredible.
And people thought I was losing my mind. And then it got to the point I'm like, fuck, let me stop it because people think I'm crazy. But you know what? I wish I never stopped.
Oh my god, this is awesome to hear this.
You know,
wow. What kind of things would you imagine battling? What kind of were interesting? What were some of these like 2-hour movies that you would?
You know, like maybe it's about like the chosen one was born. Maybe he was like a king. He was born into royalty, and then for some reasons, like he was kidnapped. He went into a like bad area, and but he had the gift of being a swordsman, and then he met. Long story, and he
So would you improvise this, or were these things that you would write? Would you write it out?
I'll think about it, and I'll
just off the top of your head.
Yeah, and I'll just start doing it, And then, when he was 16, he met, like, these kings, like, someone that sees stuff, and then the person tells him, you're going to be the king. The king's your father. and then he met the people that kidnapped him. I said, hey, I met someone that says I'm gonna be the king, that I was kidnapped, and the people that kidnapped me were like, what? And they were scared, and they hid him, and something. He started training, and he became famous because maybe the king wanted a fight of the Titans, and he went there and he proved himself. And then the king like, what's your name? And things like that. Trust me, for 2 hours, and he found his girlfriend, romance, and boom, and the king found out.
So wait, so were you acting it out, or were you sort of like narrating it, like you're reading a story?
No, I was like crazy.
Wow, this is incredible.
I had mental issues.
Do you have any? No, dude, this is perfect, man. I'm a big fan of Andy Kaufman. And Andy Kaufman did the same thing when he grew up. He would stare into the wall, and he called it Channel 5, and he would pretend that there was a camera in his wall. He was on Channel 5, and he would act television shows in his bedroom for this invisible audience. And then his mom walked in. She goes, Andy, you can't do that anymore. You need an audience. So then he would get his little sister, and he'd have her sit in there, and she would be his audience. So then when he was a little kid, he'd be on the playgrounds. He would go off by himself near the woods, and he would put on his own shows all by himself. And then little by little, kids would come over and watch what he was doing, and little by little, get bigger and bigger and bigger until, by the end of recess, he had this whole crowd of kids watching what he was doing. So cool. And he was just, lost in his own world. He wasn't trying to entertain anybody. Yeah. He wasn't trying to get any laughs. He wasn't trying to go, hey, look at this funny thing I'm doing. He was just simply just plugged right in. And man, that zone, that's a form of meditation right there. Yeah. I mean, that's where great ideas come from. That's the funny thing, because that's the root of, the idea of working hard. What is the root of that? Is concentrating and focusing on something. Well, if we're going to focus that hard on doing something that we're not passionate about, and still get raises and promotions and still get accolades and trophies and awards and, big bonuses, well then, it's something that we don't like to do. Mm-hmm. Imagine if we use that same energy, that same vibe, into something we absolutely love to do.
We'll go high, we'll go high in the sky. Trust me, that's true.
It's like the difference between a freaking 18-wheeler with a big truck thing attached and just that rig going off by itself. It's just like,
The sky won't be the limit.
Yeah.
The moon will be the limit. That's true. You're right. That's so true.
And it's so cool that you're revealing these things to me, because I think it's important that you're saying these things out loud, because I think it's important for you to be able to hear the echo of yourself. I think it's important for you to hear the echo of your own passions and things that really reverberated awesomely with you, because if there's one thing that I really love doing is trying to get people excited about really amplifying the best versions of themselves, the portions of themselves that they feel so proud about, and more so than that, very satisfied with.
True.
You have a bowl. Oh my God! Thank you, Jen. Thank you. And it's so great, man. It's such a good feeling when you just dive into that unknown, because I've been experimenting on myself like I'm a guinea pig. I've been experimenting on myself as this, and then going out and going, oh, here's the scientist now looking on the petri dish, and then sometimes I'm in the petri dish, sometimes I'm the scientist. And so by being willing to be embarrassed and being willing to go out on a limb, a lot of nuggets are out there. Yes. Deep sea divers, those guys, they dive for pearls. Yeah. And
let me get my phone. I'll show you guys something.
Choose water.
Oh, I have some here. But thank you. But thank you. But thank you. But thank you. But thank you very much. But thank you. Yeah, it's kind of like a robot of sorts. Imagine a robot. But thank you very much. But thank you. But thank you for this.
Oh my God.
Yes, very good. See, isn't it strange? It's like instead of speaking forward, I'm like inhaling backwards weirdly. Wow. This meat is not real. Wow. Wow. This pasta is good. Oh, hells yeah. Oh, hells yeah. Oh, hells yeah. What is that? What are you going to show me, young man? What are you going to show me? What kind of special nuggets of information have you got to... But But I'm glad you're sharing these ideas with me because it would be cool, man, to see you just get back into writing, acting. And is that something you want to do? Would you want to act? If you had an opportunity to be in a movie, would you be in a movie? If someone asked you to be in a movie?
If I had the opportunity, then I would. You know, but
what would be a kind of a character that you would really like to play if you were a character in a movie? If someone said, "Hey, you could be any character you want," what would that kind of character be?
Maybe
superhero.
Superhero. Oh, that's.
It'd be so fun to be in a superhero film.
You know, maybe in like a drama scene with like a Tyler Perry movie.
What about like a spy movie, like a James Bond kind of movie?
Oh yes, definitely. I've always
liked spy stuff.
I've always wanted to be in that. You know, I've always wanted to be in that. You know, and sometimes I would play video games and I would like imitate what they do, like the fighting skills and everything, and I would actually do it. Actually, you know, yeah. Your game right here, the Xbox, does it still work?
Oh yeah. Dude, do you know what?
You don't play it?
Oh, I do.
Yeah,
I play when you guys go off. I'll usually play, and then I'll sometimes I'll play that for 2 or 3 hours. I'll play Undead Nightmare, which is the one with the zombies. Have you ever played that one?
An adventure game.
Yeah, have you ever played that Red Dead Redemption?
No.
Dude, I'll show you how to play that game because I think you'd have fun.
Yeah.
It takes place in the Old West and zombies. Imagine zombies in the Old West.
I like zombie games.
And it's terrifying because these zombies, they'll be walking very slow, and you're going, oh, good, slow walking zombies. But then as soon as they see you, they start running at you.
They catch you?
Oh my God, it's freaking terrifying.
Trust me.
And they're going, ow, 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 and they're biting at you.
Trust me, I feel you, man.
Oh God, it's making me my hair stand up on my arms just thinking about it. And you'll hear them go, like he's scary.
Yes.
And
It's so fun, man.
Dude,
you have your weapons, your arrows, your guns, you know.
There's this kind of zombie that runs on its 4 legs, on its legs and its hands. Like and it bounces along and it runs so fast.
So fast?
Oh my God, it's freaking terrifying.
That is crazy. No.
Oh my God, and it's crazy, dude, because Bigfoot is in it. I had to shoot 4 Sasquatches.
Bigfoot, like the mysterious Bigfoot.
Yes, and there's a chupacabra in there.
What?
There's a unicorn in there that you can ride. Have you ever heard of the 4 Horses of the Apocalypse?
What's the 4 Horses?
4 Horses of the Apocalypse. It's like this mythology of these. They're supposed to ring in the idea of the apocalypse. It's like one of them is famine, one of them is fire. I forgot. Let's see.
So if you like games like this, trust me, you should get this game, God of War.
God of War. I've heard about this one.
Well, I think it's a PlayStation game.
Oh my God! See, this is so dangerous for me because I love video games so much.
Even the story.
And I love when you can get it.
You know, Zeus and all those. You know, his father was Zeus. I think his father Zeus. I can't remember. Like, man, the story.
Oh, so it's Greek mythology.
Exactly, how his wife was killed and how he died and he came back as immortal and
So I'm assuming Cyclops is in there.
No, it's not.
Is there a Cyclops in there? No.
Like, you play the God of War, please. Just rent a PlayStation and play that game. You like that game? I played the one on PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. I'm yet to play the one on PlayStation 4. That game is dope as fuck. I can't explain to you right now because
oh my God,
some stuff to drink. But that game, when you play,
dude,
you say, "Obi, thank you." That game is dope.
Wow.
No. Even the main character, like he's the art, like he's all white and he had this red stuff on his eyes, and his weapons, his speed, his voice. I am the God of War. Not because what he says, like no, that game is dope. God of War is dope, man. One of my favorite adventure games ever on PlayStation.
What do you like? What do you think that you like most about it? I'm curious if they match up with any of my reasons why I like those
like the power. How someone can have so much power, to even fight, all this,
to fight monsters and creatures, and just so fearlessly, just like
survive,
a 3-headed dragon. You're like,
thank you.
You got your,
and he's in human form, but he can still defeat them. That's so fucking amazing. That's so amazing.
Hey, quit it.
What if I like bullying him? You seen this?
Stop it.
You've seen Thor with Brad Pitt?
Did I see what?
Hey,
The movie Thor.
Ali.
Please tell me you've seen it.
Thor?
Like Thor.
Thor.
Thor, yeah, you're right.
Oh. Yes, I did. Yes, I
That
did.
movie was dope. He was half human, half god.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he was so powerful.
Oh man.
What was his name again? Is it Hercules or what his name is? And you can't hate him, you can't like him. You know, like, but you have to like him at the end of the day because the reason why he went after Hector, and he killed, I almost cried when he killed Hector because Hector killed his cousin.
Oh.
Because you know what? He didn't want to get involved. What's Brad Pitt name in the movie again?
Oh no, the other guy. He kind of looks like him.
Like Hercules, right? Like Brad Pitt was the main, tall guy, like the tough guy, warrior. Kings were afraid of him. His mom was whatever, half god, half human. So, okay, this is what what happened. Like this king, the prince Hector, his brother was also a prince. So, kings were exchanging gifts and everything, and then the other king, they were making peace. The other king came to Hector's town and had his wife, and then Hector's brother, the younger brother, slept with the other king's wife, and stole her.
Oh boy.
It's so crazy that women are powerful, man.
Are you saying from the Marvel movie?
No, from Thor.
Are you saying from the history of Thor?
Yeah.
Are you saying in the movie?
No, the movie.
Oh, in the movie. Gotcha.
And then the other king got mad, like, "What? You stole my wife? Give her back." He's like, "No, I love her." And Hector's like, "I love my brother. You love this woman, but you cause us a war. You know what? I'll fight for you. I'll fight against But the other king had the best warrior on earth. What's his name? Is it Hercules? Brad Pitt. But he tried to tell Brad Pitt, "Hey, can you fight for me because this guy stole my wife?" And Brad Pitt said, "No, he doesn't fight King Darius anymore. Whatever." But then, and he spoke to his mom. His mom was like a god, back in the days.
Jay, thank you for this delicious food.
And then his mom told him, "If you fight this war, you won't have a wife, you won't have kids, you're gonna die young, but you become a legend."
So he.
But if you don't fight this war, you have a family, you live long, but you won't be a legend. And he's like, "You know what? I don't have a family, whatever." But then his cousin, that looked just like him, went to the army because he was in charge of the army and said, "You know what? Let's go fight!" And put on the mask, and they couldn't see his face. They thought it was Hercules. And like, "Okay, let's go." They went to go to meet Hector, and guess what? Hector killed his cousin. That's when Brad Pitt decided, "You know what? Fuck this! I'm not fighting for you, King. I'm fighting because they killed my cousin." And he went, and it was. You've seen the movie?
Yeah, it's been a while.
That movie was amazing, man.
It's been a while. So if you were to play a superhero in a movie, would you want to have a cape?
Fuck yes.
Yeah, I think a cape is a good option. I've always liked the idea of capes, especially like when you see them in the comics and they're just like flapping around.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're just flapping around. And it's just like you get this idea that they're kind of like almost like wings of sorts.
Uh-huh.
They're kind of like like a propeller, kind of scooting you through the sky.
You've seen Clash of the Titans?
Oh yeah, the old one or the new one?
The old one.
Oh yeah, I love that old one.
I love the old one.
Oh
the flying horse and everything.
Oh my god, I love
Oh man, that movie was great.
claymation, like that big bird and stuff.
Yes, I had the videotape in Nigeria.
Oh, he's on the Pegasus. He rides on the back of the Pegasus. That was so.
When he like.
Oh my god, I loved it, man.
Medusa head like. That movie
Oh,
was,
dude,
that movie
yeah.
was good,
Oh my god, dude, that was terrifying to see
I know.
those snakes on her head. Dude, it was so awesome. And then there was that bird, that sort of like steampunk robot owl, right? Wasn't it an owl? Mm-hmm. And it's it was kind of like the R2D2 of Clash of the Titans, if I think about it, like a cross between C-3PO and R2D2, but
the graphics weren't so nice back in the days, but it just felt.
It was still very impressive.
It felt more real than this new stuff we have.
Yeah, well, you know what's so interesting is that we didn't really have anything else. We didn't back then. It's so funny because back then we didn't have this stuff to compare to that.
No, we don't.
And since that was what we had, that in itself became astonishing.
That's true, you're right. Back in the days,
did you notice even that big bird, even though it was choppy and it was this claymation thing, there was something just like, you know what? I'm
That's
going to
true.
just suspend disbelief, and yeah, that thing is actually
Yep.
really moving that way.
True.
And then it just becomes this fun kind of like, you could tell that the little Pegasus up in the sky is
Yeah.
maybe a little action figure.
Yes,
You're like,
okay,
no,
yeah.
that's that dude. He's
So
flying on
crazy.
it.
When I watch old movies and I watch the new ones, now I'm like, wow, I can't believe I thought this was cool.
It is
But it was
tricky.
cool.
You're right.
Well, there's things you don't notice, I think, when you're younger, too.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
When you're older, you're
That's
looking
true.
at more details, and you're like, I see that string back there pulling that
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
You see it. I
When you were
know.
little,
Yeah.
you didn't notice that.
You know? No, I think it's not about being little. Even the people that were like older thought it was cool because back then technology hadn't gone this far. So in that time it was cool.
Yeah.
Because that was in their mind. This was the best. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing. What's going on with the video games? Like, the more I see these video games, the realer they look.
Exactly.
The cutscenes.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? And now even the playable time that you're playing the game looks just like the cutscenes.
Yes, it
they're
does.
starting to really
Yep.
match each other with the
True,
detail and
true.
everything. Oh my god. Oh
True.
man,
That's
it's
crazy, man.
nuts, dude. How real that stuff is.
I
You
heard
see
you-
like the sweat beads
I
and
know,
the hair
everything,
flapping
like,
on
how?
the beards flapping in the
And
wind.
I heard they're making like a PlayStation 5, and then for Xbox they're making a new Xbox with more graphics. I'm like, how far can it go from here? Like, I'm confused. This is
Wow,
enough
man.
graphics.
Oh my god.
I think they're trying to make it look like way more real. Like, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Technology has gone far. Okay.
I'll leave this out.
It's 2 a.m. already.
This is mine?
Yes.
Thank you, Jen.
Good night. Yeah, good night.
Sure.
Are you going to sleep? Good night, Jen. Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful dinner.
No, it's
Sleep
delicious.
well.
You're so lucky. When my little sister came to visit for 3 months, I ate like a king. Yes. When she moved back to Texas with her husband, I'm like, But sometimes we know how to cook, but we just don't care.
Let's see. Oh gosh, there was a thing I was going to ask you about. So when you're writing music, what were some of? Well, first of all, is any of that music out there? Was any of it recorded?
No. It was gonna be.
Now, my second question is, what were some of the things you wrote about in the music for your songs?
I was a teenager, so I was writing about education and stuff. Because
That's awesome.
I know.
That's perfect, dude. The whole rap out was it? What kind of music genre was it?
Hip hop, rap.
So a whole album about education.
Yeah, because
Dude, I love it.
Because we're going to perform. I was like 14. I was a kid.
Were you at the talent show?
Yes, well, yeah, we performed on stage.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I could rap it right now for you if you want to see.
Do it.
It's about AIDS.
Yeah, do it.
Because we had we had this.
You can remember it?
Few of it. That was we had this stuff we had to write about. Comprehension about AIDS and HIV because we had people come from other schools, teaching us about condoms and stuff. Mm-hmm. So we said, hey, you know what? Let's rap about this stuff, and let's put it out there so we become cool, but whatever. Mm-hmm. So we and then I created a chorus. It was dumb. It was first 14. That was old school rap. Mm-hmm. But we had the beats and everything. It sounds better. But this is how it goes. Who the hell is looking for? Who the hell is who's is looking for? Who's is looking at? Who the hell is looking at? Who the is looking for? Who the hell is looking at? Is a foreigner from hell, a stranger that dwells in our lives forever with the quality of the devil to kill and to steal and destroy our body system. It's a tragic to our lives, brought tragic to our soul. It has an evil legacy, a legacy of death. Come, let's stop this legacy with our corporation. Because this is one corporate, it can formulate a group. It's been long, I can't remember, but
No.
back in the days, we did it good.
Dude, what else? What else? There's more to it, right? There's more to it.
Yeah, but I can't remember those stuff because I just gave up. I just
Dude, that's so cool, man.
because I wasn't driving, and then the studio at that time was far, so I take the bus, three buses, and I didn't have money. I had to rely on my mom to give me money, but she wasn't giving me money to go to the studio. So I was so depressed for a long time because I didn't have a car. That was years ago in Nigeria. To have a car, you have to be rich. And then we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have Instagram, we didn't have anything. So I just gave up. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
So they were going to record,
Yeah.
and you were going to be up there that day.
Yeah.
But you didn't have the
means to
get up
because
there.
they lived in that city.
Oh.
But I lived in I went to boarding school, so they lived in that city, like where I went to school at. They were going from home, but I was in the boarding school. But I lived in Lagos, and they lived somewhere else. It was far.
Oh.
Super far. So I told them I was gonna come with the bus. Or, my mom was gonna give me money to go, or she was gonna drop me off. He didn't do any of that. When I told her, I thought she got excited. She got mad. She's like, what? What is what? Oh shit!
And was that the first time that she learned that you were part of it?
Yeah, like you. And she was like, you don't be like your father. I'm like, oh man, But now my dad is doing good, So yeah.
That's it must be a strange thing. I wonder sometimes about like when the parents would tell their children, don't get into acting, don't get into music, don't do that because there's a better chance that you won't make it.
Yeah.
There's so many of them out there. It's all this competition. It's not worth it. We hear all that stuff, and what's interesting is there are plenty of those examples out there where these kids heard this their whole lives, and they end up becoming these really phenomenal musicians and actors and screenwriters.
Yep, true.
And next thing you know, they're winning awards and people are giving them accolades.
Yes.
And I wonder what goes through those minds of those people at that moment when they discover that, holy cow, this person totally made it.
Yeah.
Do they think about, gosh, man, why was I such a jerk to them, telling them not to do that?
I wish I was more supportive. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
And then I start wondering, like, okay, where does a mindset like that stem from? So for instance, one of the ideas I'm thinking is if someone is trying to reel in someone from their ideas, one of it could stem from that ego of like, my dreams never came true, so his dreams better not come true.
Yeah.
So that's one possibility.
Yeah.
One of them could simply be, I'm so worried about this person's safety that I just want the best for them, and I don't want any terrible things to happen, and I want their dreams to
overprotective. Yeah.
Right, and so there's that aspect. There is also the aspect of having their own fears projected onto this other person. Yeah. So they're just worried, like, I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. Or maybe they are like, what? They weren't in that same environment or same vibe. They don't understand about music or acting.
Yes.
It's something different. So they think, because I did this, you must do this.
Incredible.
Or in their mind, they're like, they don't know shit about music. So they're like, my kids might not know shit about music too. Yeah. Or they don't understand the value of art.
Oh my gosh.
Because they have not been, because they're not artistic. Like my mom doesn't know about music. She's from...
Your parents in 1980, 38 years. You here in 2018. Even though it's all the eights, it's the circle. You are good. You could be a good mystical interpreter of, yes. It's the circle. Isn't it interesting? 1980, there's an 8. 1988, there's an 8. 2018, there's an 8. An 8 is a circle on top of a circle. Not only is the circle represents a sense of wholeness that I dare say that everyone feels for you now, this sense of completeness. By the way, the word for whole, like a whole circle, in Hebrew is shalem. It's related to its root word shalom, which means peace. that when there are circles in our lives, there's a wholeness in our soul. When there's a feeling of wholeness in our soul, not a hole in our soul. When there's a feeling of wholeness in our soul, there's a sense of inner peace. And perhaps all of these 8s are really destined to represent something extraordinary about this marriage is so right and so beautiful and so meaningful. But